everybody.
Hey, welcome back to the Four Chains. So we have a bit of a timely video we're trying to get out there fast. We are about to travel to Italy, and we are going to travel a lot within Italy while we're there. And we can see on the internet that there's a lot of interest in many aspects of what we're about to do. We're going to fly business class, and we're going to be traveling a lot under restrictive COVID rules, and we know that a lot of people are hesitating about traveling to Europe because of all of the uncertainty out there about the travel situation. And so we've done a lot of preparatory work, and honestly what's interesting about this video is we don't know how it's going to turn out. This might be a video about don't go to Italy right now, or it might be hey, it's no problem, come on, or somewhere in between. But we've had to do a lot before already, and we haven't even left.
Yeah, luckily we were vaccinated as soon as we could be vaccinated for a variety of reasons, but that's one of the requirements that's necessary in order to fly. I don't know if it's domestically, but definitely internationally if you're going to Europe. So we have our vaccine cards. You also need to fill out, and Jim did all of the research for this trip, so he's going to
Google's a wonderful thing.
He's going to chime in frequently because I'm sure I'll leave things out. But you have to have something called a passenger locator form, which Jim already did.
We filled those out. There's actually two of them. Right?
Well, there's one for the EU and one for Britain.
Yeah.
And since we're traveling from Seattle to London Heathrow, even though we're just passing through, we have to follow all of the COVID regulations that apply to Great Britain, as well as anything that applies to Italy, because even though we're not leaving the airport or even a section of the airport, we still have to have that.
Yeah, that was very surprising to us.
Yeah, that was found out kind of at the last minute, and thank God we found it out, or we would not be progressing beyond England.
Now, one thing I know there's a lot of questions about is the Green Pass. So we attempted to do that, but there was an issue.
Yeah, apparently that's something that's required in the EU that they want to see, even for restaurants, and I guess
any tourist attraction. What we're hearing is that when we're there, every tourist attraction, basically anywhere we want to go, we need this Green Pass. And unfortunately,
we can't get it because we don't live in Europe.
We don't live in Europe. So we are hoping that
we can show our vaccine cards and our passenger locator form, and that's going to be enough. So
we will let you know. We're headed out there. While we're there, there's going to be some other things. We're going to be traveling within Europe just for actually the sake of our channel. Normally, we love traveling by train because you're in the train going to Italy, and upgrading to first class on a train is very inexpensive. But in addition, we're going to make one of our trips a plane trip because we want to see how traveling within Europe goes on the plane. Okay, one thing I want to clarify before we get on the plane: if you are an employee of mine, or you've seen a video or been to a seminar where I talk about financial responsibility and saving money and passive income, and basically I talk a lot about ways to earn money and ways to save money, you may be surprised that we're making a video where we are flying business class. So let me talk a little bit about that. Number one, I don't recommend paying full fare to fly business class. However, I do recommend taking several of the other options for taking business class, and there are other options. Number one, sometimes when you are going to Europe, if the business class is not sold out, they will have sales at the desk, and they'll be a lot cheaper than if you would have bought business class originally. But in this particular situation, and I don't say that flying business class everywhere is necessary. When I fly domestically, I almost never fly business class. But in the case of going to Europe, you are losing time. Like in this particular case, from Seattle to Milan, we're going to lose 9 hours. And jet lag is a real thing. I don't need to convince people who have experienced it, and if you haven't experienced it, I can't possibly convince you, but it will really damage your trip. And so being able to sleep on the plane is very important. And in my case, I can't sleep unless I'm completely reclined. If you can be sitting up in a coach airplane seat and fall asleep, God bless you, then do that. But I think in particular, business class is a good deal for me because I can take an Ambien and fall asleep unless the turbulence is really bad on the plane because it reclines all the way. And another thing I'd like to point out is that in this particular situation, we have some layovers, and when you fly business class layovers, you also get the advantage of being in the lounge, and the lounges have food, sometimes they have showers, they have other things. It's a more comfortable environment to relax in, and so to me it's worth it. In this particular case, we used miles. If you look at these airline cards, generally what the deal is they give you a lot of miles up front, and the first year is free, and then you start paying $99 a year after that. In this particular case, we're using our American Airlines credit card. We got 60,000 miles just for signing up, and now we have over 100,000 miles. And 100,000 miles is enough to upgrade us to business class for the entire trip. So that's why we're doing it. And hopefully we're gonna have some footage from the lobby at Seattle Airport in a few hours.
This is the Alaska Airlines lounge. Now we are flying American, but one of the advantages, as I talked about with business classes, you get to be in the lobbies. And so with One World Airlines, Alaska, American, British, etc., you can stay at any of their lounges. So this is a pancake machine, and then they've got various toppings and syrups and stuff like that. So you can see we got a plate of oranges. We'll come back to here because it's the bar. Here what they have is the Starbucks. So they got the decaf, so nobody's ever going to try that because that's horrible. And then we've got the premium roast. You can get hot water, various teas, and the Starbucks cups up there. If you prefer soda, we talked about this in another videos, you should not prefer soda, but if you do, it's right here. They also have some cranberry juice, and this is my absolute favorite person here. She always takes care of us. She just brought this new guacamole. No, you're sweet. Look at what she did here.
Added some cookies there.
She just bought a bunch of cookies here, and look, she added the Paul Newman's dressing, and I noticed that you refresh the guac. How often do you do that?
I don't know, pretty often. As soon as we see that it's getting down like this,
yeah,
if it's a little bit lower than that, we'll start refreshing items just to make sure it's nice and fresh for our guests.
Okay. And, you know, she's good about that. This salad, it doesn't look like a lot, but it's incredible. It works so good with the chicken, and then I usually put a little bit of cheese, and then I do the Newman's Own balsamic vinaigrette. That's the combination I like.
Have a taco or a chicken
Absolutely.
salad.
And so as you can see, this is what Angie was eating. They've got the tortilla chips, and she has it with the salsa. And then we'll take you around here. And this is where they have some hot soups and various toppings. And then if you want snacks, it's right here. Also, if you go downstairs, there is a light snack thing downstairs. But up here is where the bathrooms are. The bathrooms include showers, etc., etc. And there is a bar here. So they're waiting for their drinks. I'm going to try to use my expert camera skills to hone in on this. And we don't want to get drunk today because we're going to be falling asleep on the plane anyways. So we're not going to go ahead and order this. But I do think I'm going to get Angie a gin and tonic or a Bombay Sapphire tonic, which is what she likes.
Where are you headed?
Okay, so as I was saying, this bag here, we've got some earplugs so I can sleep, eye mask so I can sleep.
The eye mask is my favorite.
My favorite, the socks. Why did I pack these socks in my purse? This lotion, it's rosemary. I bet it's bomb because extra cookies from the lounge and just gave them to the flight attendants, which they really appreciated.
It's a good move. I would suggest it.
Def do that. Also got a toothbrush, a pen. I'm left-handed. And a Rolex. It's the lotion. It's where you can buy the lotion.
There you go, if you want to buy it.
Yeah, I do want to buy it. Okay, so that's what's in that bag.
So I'm going to give you a little idea of what it looks like in general. So this is, we saw a video online that suggested getting the odd number seats because then we could be together on the flight. And so that's how we go. And these seats, of course, they extend all the way down so we can sleep or watch movies if we choose. And we got the sweet headset there. And then if you want to charge your stuff that's in here, you can also control the movies and stuff like that.
I'm going to be fully masked when I do like this. It's going to be like no joke. It's going to be like...
Yeah, so when she sleeps, it's this whole getup. I think we can live with that though.
We're in the British Airways lounge, finishing a bite to eat, and we're going to have some lovely cappuccinos here in just a second. Pretty tired, pretty jet lagged. It's, I think
talk about the difference with how the food works here as opposed to...
Yeah, we had to scan the QR code, which is on the table here, to order any food, including just coffees. The only thing you can walk up and get is actually still water. Everything else you have to order with the QR code in the lounge here, as opposed to when where were we? Seattle?
Yeah.
At the American Lounge, you could just walk up and get what you wanted. The flight was a little turbulent. I did sleep. Jim did not sleep.
No.
A wink.
All right, here we are. This is part of the British Airways lounge. I guess I can take off my mask now because I'm the only one here. This is the shower. This is something I've never tried before in any of these lounges, but we do have a 6-hour layover, and you can take a private shower here. Angie's on the other end there, and she's taking hers, so...
We just took an hour and 20 minutes from flight from Milano to Naples, Napoli, and I would be totally fine flying coach on that situation. As a general rule, we didn't do it this time. We flew first class in row 1 because it actually saved us money. So let me explain to you why. We flew Wizz Air. Wizz Air has a lot of appeal because it is a low fare airline. They don't operate in the United States. If you haven't heard of it, it's not a big deal.
WIZZ.
Yeah, WIZZ Air. And they have very attractive prices. Like for instance, this flight, flying coach, was $22 one way. But it only includes one carry-on bag, and it cannot be a trolley bag. Like, it has to be like a purse. It can't even be the size of a backpack. So since we're traveling and we have to travel with our bags, we have both a trolley bag and a bag that we have to check. Checking bags it would have been $60 each to check bags. So that would have brought our ticket price to $82. First class tickets, a whopping $78. So we were able to fly first class, get much larger leg room, and check our bags and have the trolley bag and the carry-on and it's actually saved us $4 to...
We've done some major savings on
Yeah, fine. One of the things you need to pay attention to on the trains is that you have to look at the train number, and this train number is 9310. Don't look at the destination. Oh, I'm going to Florence, Firenze, so you look for Florence, because this is actually the Torino train that stops in Florence, Firenze. So the boards all said something different. One said, as she said, 20 minutes, the other 10 minutes. And we needed caffeine. We didn't know where we were going to get on the train. So I grabbed it, and then when it changed from 20 minutes late to 10 minutes late, that gave us 1 minute to get on the train. And we were carrying cappuccino and our croissants that we were going to have for breakfast. Angie, of course, knows what she's doing, so she was able to consume her breakfast. I had 2 bites of my croissant, accidentally dropped it on the ground, and then poured half of my cappuccino onto the camera case. And literally, as we walked on the train, before we could even sit down and put our luggage up, the train started moving. We were the last people on this train. So, yeah, we're a little bit strained this morning.
Hi, I know the lighting probably isn't great here, but as you can maybe see, we're back in Seattle, and I'm having to make this video because what we were supposed to be showing you, we couldn't, because Jim is not a great videographer, and he's super shaky with the camera, and it was so bad that every person we had watch it said it absolutely had to be scrapped. So maybe at some point somebody will see it, but it's not going to be in this. So we just got back from Italy, and we were trying to get our COVID test to return. So we went to the train station right across from where we were staying in Milan, and the line was horrendous, and it was like 90 degrees. So we waited around a bit, and we tried to talk to somebody in charge there. So long story short, somebody overheard everyone in line complaining. They came up to us and said, hey, there's a pharmacy inside the train station. You can go in there and get it for $25. So this was the free test outside that they were giving. And people didn't realize that if they wanted to pay $25, they could go in and have it a done deal in 30 minutes. People have been waiting for hours. Well, the next day we went back, and the line was actually short because it was so horrible the day we were there that they gave out numbers.
The sprinkler system just went out. Sorry, guys. We're trying to get this video out really quick because we know it's timely.
So they gave out numbers for the people the next day. The line wasn't as long. But if you're in Italy, usually you can get a free test at the train stations. The Red Cross gives them. But you can also try one of the pharmacies inside the train station. One of them that we went to inside did not do COVID tests, but the second one we found in the train station did. We paid $25. We were in and out with the results in 30 minutes, and that was it. So again, we can't show you that video because it looks like this, but we got it done.
Okay, in conclusion, we left here Seattle in the summertime, and now it is fall. We have just returned from Italy, and I wanted to give a bottom line because when we started this video, we didn't know whether it would be a cautionary tale to avoid Italy or a hey, you can make this work video. And in the end, I would say that you can make it work. Here's the bottom line in terms of all the COVID rules. I think you should do what we did. We got everything. The Great Britain, we transferred through London Heathrow. If you're doing one of those flights directly from JFK to Milan or to Rome, one of those COVID flights, you don't even have to do the Great Britain one. And we did the EU locator form. We got our vaccination card, and we got tested within 72 hours of when we were leaving. And we wound up not being restricted from anything because of our preparation. Now, there are some things that you can't do because of COVID. We wanted to go see The Last Supper. The Last Supper Museum is closed. There were a few items like that that were just flat out closed that you couldn't visit, mostly because they're in closed space. Like, for instance, in Milan, Sforza Castle, which is wonderful, is open, but it's big, wide open spaces for the most part. And obviously The Last Supper, it's just 18 people crammed in a small room looking at at one fresco, which I did want to see. But it's manageable. I would say in general, what you have to keep in mind is you don't want anybody to prevent you from going into an event or a place or a restaurant, but they want you to be there. And so for the most part, you will get asked for a green pass. Everywhere you go in Italy, you will be asked for a green pass, but either our vaccination card or our negative test or both were sufficient for every single place that we went in that would have let us in with a green pass. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if you're planning a trip now, by the time you go to Italy, you'll be able to get a green pass. So I think that the bottom line is that Italy's a bucket list and life is not a dress rehearsal. And if you haven't been to Italy and you're dying to go on a vacation because you've been coped up because of COVID, I would go ahead and get it done. And hopefully this video helped the process of it and it'll help you when you're there. We'll see you next time with the 4 Chains.